This topic is very, very dear to my heart, and this literally led to my full-blown awakening to go down all the rabbit holes and figure out what was happening. Say a parent's worst nightmare happened to me. My newborn infant who had the regular schedule 2 month ones that are given to them. And within a couple days had a very severe life-threatening reaction to that. Not one doctor could figure out what happened. As a mother, as a parent, and I have to mention that that affected my son's ability to walk. This wasn't during the time that they were also pushing those COVID ones.
That was a lot to deal with because you already had to deal with the COVID thing, and
Oh
then you had to
boy,
deal
that
with your
was a
child
whole,
too.
yeah, during that period of that COVID situation, everybody was under a lot of extra stress, and then having to go through pregnancy and birth at that time was a whole next story as well. So,
These are the same as your pharmaceuticals. There's tons of side effects, and they'll just give you another pharmaceutical for that side effect. And oh, you got another one? We'll give you another one. And it's just a
yeah,
cocktail. No wonder people get sick all the time. Their bodies aren't allowed to heal and build their own immune systems because every time you take one of these, it ruins your immune system.
this is why they're able to predict how much of what is coming in the future because they know what they have been giving and what
Yep.
the side effects are. So now they're able to predict what other conditions are coming in the future. If you're looking in the right places, if you're not going to see any
Yeah.
of this. All right.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our channel, The Three of Pentacles. We are the Three of Pentacles. We're three tarot card readers. And before I forget, I want to go ahead and introduce my lovely tarot sisters, the beautiful Lynn and the beautiful Kaila.
Hi, everyone.
And my name is Barbara. And we like to read on world events, world news, things that happen every day around us, things that make you go, And we do this for entertainment purposes, but not always, because sometimes we do serious subjects like the one that we're about to get into. This is kind of a controversial subject about the you know what's. That's what they used to call them back in the day, right? The you know what's. She's got one,
Vitamin
and
shots.
exactly, vitamin shots. Before we get started with the vitamin shots, we'd like to thank everybody for liking and sharing and subscribing and watching our videos. Thank you so much. Keep on doing it and start commenting a little bit more. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So in this video, yes, we're going to talk about the vitamin shots, let's say the product that a lot of people have taken in the last 4 years. But this specific video, we're going to go into a story that sparked our interest about the Amish schools up in New York State and how they're
They're no longer exempted from,
exactly
from these
from the
products. They're saying
exactly
that the kids have to take them, right?
Even in the Amish schools that are all Amish, yes, it said
Right. And this was something that went through the court system.
yeah.
New York cancels religious objections, fines Amish schools 118,000. And mind you, for those that aren't familiar with the Amish, they live off on their own. There's no power, they live like
They're
we live,
isolated.
isolated. So they have very little contact. I mean, they do have contact with regular people because they come into towns and they do things, but it said since 1966, New York allowed exemptions from mandatory school immunization for medical reasons or sincerely held religious objections. However, following a nationwide measles outbreak in 2018 and 2019, the legislature removed those exemptions, joining 4 other states to prohibit any kind of non-medical exemption. I'll have to look up the other 4 states.
So
Yeah.
that is
And there was a
wild.
statement, Lynn, that you told us that came out of the judge's mouth about not exempting for sole purpose reasons or something like that.
Where was that? Barbara quoted that, I think, in the group.
Yeah, that was it was quite, I was
Wild.
quite taken aback with that one because that is, spiritual, personal, religious beliefs, and we know that there are certain things in these products that are not always conducive to spiritual beliefs. There's so many things that came out recently.
I believe what you're talking about, paraphrasing, they're saying that we care about your beliefs, but we don't care about your soul, basically.
I found it. It said,
Something
and I
like
think
that.
it was the Amish's attorney previously argued. The state has determined that it's okay to spare a child vaccination for the sake of their immune system, but it's not okay to spare a child vaccination for the sake of their soul.
I
Yep.
think
World
that
do we live in?
describes the state of the world in one sentence
Yep.
and what's wrong with the world.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's absolutely ridiculous that it really is. It used to make me so angry when I read these things, but it doesn't, I'm not numb anymore, but it just something, just to say something like that about someone and their beliefs and what they want to do with their children. So, all right, so we are going to pull on this. What would be the questions we want to apply to this reading here? How do you want to phrase this question?
So what was interesting to me in this time that we're in, where RFK Jr. is bringing out so much information, and he has proposed a lot of new things, new checks to be put in place, is this going to hold up? That was one of my questions. Is it going to hold up in court? Is this going to change? And Lynn is showing a very good chart here as to a comparison of 1986, how many were mandatory. I'm not going to repeat certain words because of the platform that we're on. And in 2025, there is so much more. And now this is a topic, and these ladies know very well. It's very, very dear to my heart because this is what literally sparked put the final nail in the coffin in my spiritual awakening. Because I don't know if y'all want to pull on this first, or if you would like me to share my story first, we can.
Go on with it. Go ahead and share your story.
Yeah, so I guess this is where this is one of the most, I guess I can say, a parent's worst nightmare happened to me in 2021, the early parts of 2021. My newborn infant, who had the regular scheduled 2-month ones that are given to them. And within a couple days, had a very severe, life-threatening reaction to that. And just to explain how bad this was, I'll just give you some details. So I put him to bed. This is a newborn baby. I was trying to get some pictures, but I couldn't put my hands on them for today. So I put him to bed, and I always tried not to get too emotional because it was one of the worst experiences. So I put him to bed, and within 1 hour, he woke up screaming. Now, have you ever heard a newborn baby scream? I don't think this is not usual. Yes, they cry, they could be high pitched, but this was literally like a screaming cry, as if in excruciating pain. So I ran to him, I put him on the bed because my first thought is I need to check and see what is causing. Maybe it's something physical causing this pain. We noticed that his legs were turned blue. His feet were curled in, like his toes and feet were curled. It was also blue. And he was just screaming. His face was red. His skin was red at that time. And then, so we called an ambulance. And then within a short space of time, he went pale and quiet. And I thought at that moment, that's it. I lost my child. That was literally what went through my head. And all I could do was I put my hands on him and I called on God and started to pray over him. And I just had my hands on him and I was just praying. Within a few moments, he went calm for a little while and he appeared to come back. I think he had a seizure. And his legs, it wasn't blue anymore, but there were spots, and they give these in the thigh of the little little one, when they're little. And so literally from where that was given, going all the way down his legs, there were these red spots, which is, there's a word for it, and it's usually signifying like broken blood vessels. So he was admitted to hospital for 3 days. They ran every single test you can think about. He had so much invasive blood tests and so much things happening. His blood tests were all off. But here's what happened. At the end of those 3 days, we left the hospital with no diagnosis. They couldn't explain what happened. And throughout the whole process, I kept saying, he just had those. He just had those for the 2-month schedule. And they were like, no, it couldn't possibly be that. That would not cause that. Now, he immediately also developed eczema, something he didn't have before this. So we had, now being a mother, you go with your instincts, and I just started doing a lot of research, and you can't find this information, unfortunately, on regular websites and so on, because it's so controlled. I started looking in moms groups for people who would have had similar experiences, and I insisted I'm going to find this. I was able to find some people who had similar experiences, and then I was able to also find a study that was done in the Netherlands. It was in the early parts of 2000s. In the early part of the 2000s, it was published, but I think the study was done in the 90s, going into 2000, somewhere around that time. I can't remember exactly. And this happened to us in 2021, and not one doctor could figure out what happened. It was called, this study was called discolored leg syndrome after, and it spoke of more than 1,000 babies, literally newborn babies, that this would have happened to, having those same combination shots. And so I was able to find a specialist who, right off the bat, he said to me, 100% that's what caused it. But you know what he said to me? He said, but you're going to have to give him the rest, because the WHO, this is their part of their protocol. And I was so upset. I was like, so you don't care if he dies, but you care that he has a schedule, right? So this is literally what sparked my whole awakening. And this wasn't during the time that they were also pushing those COVID ones, which were the new ones that sparked so much controversy. And so this topic is very, very dear to my heart. And this literally led to my full-blown awakening to go down all the rabbit holes and figure out what was happening.
Yeah, you told us about this in the past, Kaila, but listening to it again like this and knowing what I know today, that's thank you for sharing that again with us.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's other mothers out there that
People
have
out there.
gone through it out
There's
there.
so many parents, so many mothers, and who have spoken about other things that they have linked to these, right? That they have said no, but they know better, as a mother, as a parent, And I have to mention that affected my son's ability to walk, and his legs going into the, even up to now. So he's 4, and he started walking only closer to 3 years old. And that was with no help from the allopathic medical field. This was working with him, massaging, energy clearing, that kind of more natural things.
He had those braces for a while he had to wear too, right?
Yeah, he's still supposed to be wearing those braces to correct the positioning of his feet.
Mm-hmm.
And, he was a normal baby when he was born. Yes, he was born a little early, but, he was healthy.
And you said when he got the first product, how old was he?
So those were the 2-month ones.
2 months.
For some reason, I had like this feeling he was born a little bit early, so I kind of pushed it. He was about 3 months old when I gave those. I consented to giving those, but so before that he would have only had what was given at birth. And now that I know so much, because I've researched so much, it's back then, you regret so much of it, because I also have another child, and we had no idea. So this led me down certain rabbit holes, and I have to mention Dr. Paul Thomas in the US, who is a well-known pediatrician who spoke out about this. I found him, I found his work, and he has like literally evidenced, he had a practice where he would give people a choice, and he was able to pull the records, and he said something is wrong. He's seeing that there are certain conditions in one group who got these, and that the other group was more healthy, the ones who didn't get them, and he was targeted in so many ways. His license was suspended. And literally he just kind of withdrew himself from the practice, and he's on YouTube, and please go and find his work. Dr. Paul Thomas.
Yeah.
Not Paul Wallace is someone else from the fifth
Paul
kind.
Wallace is the other fifth kind
Yes,
doctor.
but
He's
he
the
has
other
some
doctor.
good information too. But Paul Thomas, he has a lot of good information, and he has been criticized a lot by the system, but it's always good to go to the source, people who have been dealing with these things and who see hands-on the effects.
And he's got a good,
We'll
good
pin
website.
we'll tag his video in the description.
Yeah, kids first, the number 4ever.com. And then it has his YouTube blog in there too.
Yeah, that's really sad, but I'm glad that you realized it, and I'm sorry that your little one had to go through that, and you had to go through that as a family as well, and your other child watching it all happen.
Yeah, that was like so traumatic for her, but I have to say it was divinely guided. He's our little angel, because he came to show us to not get these, and to stop and to research and all of that. So
yeah, and that's because all that happened during the whole COVID thing, when everybody was going out and getting the product in 2021. So that's that was a lot to deal with, because you already had to deal with the COVID thing, and then you had to deal
that
with
was
your
a
child
whole,
too.
yeah, I think
Well,
that
and she had just moved too,
They just
right?
moved too, so that's a lot.
we were there. Yeah, back at that time we were living in the Middle East as expats, and we were there for a number of years, so we were quite settled. But during that period of that COVID situation, everybody was under a lot of extra stress, and then having to go through pregnancy and birth at that time was a whole next story as well. So
Yeah, it's a whole different experience. So, well, thank you again for sharing that with the channel. And so he's doing better now, right?
he's doing better now and has not gotten any more, and he just continued to get better and better. But I have to say that the incident actually recurred after that, but it kept getting less and less the further he got away from those, and having not gotten any more.
That's great. That is wonderful. So what would you all like to do? Would you like to pull on something on the story that Kaila said, or did you want to just did you all want to read on the story?
Kyla's got some questions that she
Got some
wants.
questions, Kaila?
Well, my question was generally like, what was the original this has come up, especially with RFK and now, where a lot of us are hoping to see a big change. So I have two questions. I don't know which one you want to ask or how you want to do it. What was the original intention? I think I know the original intention behind these. Was it really
Vitamin shots.
as they said, or is it something else? And my other question, maybe with your pendulum, you can just ask, or if you want to pull just a couple more cards, what is the future of these? Where is it going? Is it going to hang around or not?
I mean,
Let's look at the intention around it. What
you
was
know,
the real
for
intention?
anybody that's new to this, just ask, to see the information sheet on them. They never bring the information sheet and let you read the ingredients or anything else that are
Exactly.
in them, and then what the side effects are. Nobody knows what the side effects are. They don't tell you. They just come in and go, "You're due for this."
Yeah.
And because it's Dr.
recently-
Whitecoat, they expect you to believe, and trust
Right.
them. And that, unfortunately, we blindly have trusted them.
Exactly. And just today we were looking at one of those inserts. Somebody shared it on X.
Yep.
And, a parent was talking about her experience that she had to insist on seeing it. And when she saw it, she refused it because the kinds of stuff that was on there, it's like,
The side effects were
for
horrible.
whatever it is that you're trying to prevent, the side effects are way worse.
Yeah. There was a guy during COVID that would go to the pharmacies and ask to see the information shots of the information sheets from these, and they were blank. They were absolutely blank. There was nothing in them.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
Yep.
And then RFK has brought up that topic where he says that not one of these have gone through a placebo-controlled clinical trial,
Right.
especially for the he was talking about the children one,
Yep.
the schedule. I don't want to put too many words in there.
You could probably just
Yeah,
say
I can
immunization.
blink them out.
Yeah.
I can blink it out. Okay. So I looked at a general, okay, itself. Just hold a general, what's the initial general intention behind these
The
products?
immunizations of the immunization.
Yes. Yeah.
No, you got the magician there. It's interesting.
So you have the
Strategic.
magician and
Yeah.
this chariot. So, if you look at the first card that I laid down, which would be the Seven of Swords, where he's walking away with the swords, and you look at the King of Pentacles at the top and the magician, it looks like it was initially done for money purposes. Money purposes, and they took that on the road and they took off with it quickly. So you've got the the Knight of Wands in the middle. That's very enthusiastic, something doing, putting effort in it, enthusiastically. The Chariot moves very fast, very quickly. And they also kind of like, if you say something that's there's a little defensive energy around the Seven of Wands. Now, the Seven of Wands could be something that's unique, something that's different. And maybe it was a different type of thing when it first started because it wasn't around. And there's also defensive energy around that too. There's also the Eight of Wands and the Ace of Wands. So the Eight of Wands, sorry you can't really see that picture, but there's a lot of wands flying through the air. It's covered up by the Ace of Wands. That almost makes me feel multiple of these products multiple times. So there's 8 on one card and there's one big one right there. So there's like multiple of them that they wanted to kind of push.
Oh, and look at how many they're pushing now today. I mean, good God.
Yeah.
And you have the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom, and that's a big coin. So all in all, it's a tactic that they use to make money, and they took it on a road, and it may have turned into something else. Because some people think that it was a way just to kind of make people sicker and make more money and maybe diminish
Got lots of theories.
lots of theories out there.
Yeah.
So what do you all say about it?
Yeah, I agree with you. With the magician and the Seven of Wands below, there's a bit of trickery happening here, and it's something much more unique than what they're saying. And with the Knight of Wands in the environment, it's sort of like, while there would have been some sort of intention in the past, it's like they got an inspired idea. Hey, let's use this. There's a strategy now happening. Let's use this for this and that. And they got different things coming into play. And yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
To me, the Knight of Wands kind of almost represents the doctors too. Like, oh, we'll use them to basically peddle it. They're going to look like the knight in shining armor, basically coming in to save your kids.
And something that I did not know before and I found out about is that these doctors, they only have literally a short seminar on these things. So they have no idea. They are not responsible to research it. They have no idea about anything.
So the pharmaceutical reps tell them what they need to know.
They just literally are told you need to do this and that's it. So when you're going to them and you're trusting that they know what they're doing, they really don't.
They don't know. They don't, Dr. Glidden, we mentioned him in the previous video. And I believe this is part of our health series. This is
Yeah.
part of our health series.
Yep.
He says they don't even know how to cure the common cold,
Right. Right.
much less give you information on how to get better. And any of their job is to help you manage whatever you have.
Well,
And
and
that's
I
their
think
job.
these are the same as your pharmaceuticals. There's tons of side effects, and they'll just give you another pharmaceutical for that side effect. And oh, you got another one? We'll give you another one. And it's just a cocktail
Yeah.
after
And
cocktail.
there was one doctor, I don't remember if it's Dr. Glidden or somebody else who said it, but this is why they're able to predict how much of what is coming in the future, because they know what they have been giving and
Yep.
what the side effects are. So now they're able to predict what other conditions are coming in the future. You think that's by chance?
Well, a lot of them do the clinical trials, and then see what happens with the clinical trials, so
Yeah.
they know what they're walking into.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Did you all want me to do a couple clarifiers, or did you want to do? I still have the deck here.
Do you think we can ask where is this going in the future? Are they going to be around or something like that?
Are they going to be still here? Yeah.
Okay, looks like they're already getting rid of them.
Good.
Good.
Okay, the five of Pentacles.
Yeah. And I asked, are they getting rid of the immunizations? Yes.
Yeah.
Good. And we can ask about the Amish court decision. Is that going to hold up
Will the New York State decision against the Amish for their exemptions hold up? It will hold up. Oh.
for a while?
Hold on. Will the Amish be able to have a religious exemption against immunizations? Yes. So, but if they're going to be gone, it's going to be kind of a moot point.
Okay, I'm gonna do a couple of clarifiers on that.
I'm thinking they'll probably take it to the Supreme Court.
Will it hold up?
Will the Amish take this to the Supreme Court? Yes.
I get a 6 and a 3 of Pentacles. I get all Pentacles here.
Pentacles, yeah.
So I asked, will it hold up? And the first one that I got, I believe, was a 6 of Pentacles, and it might hold up for a while.
Yeah.
Six.
I think they're going to end up taking it. There's going to be some attorneys, probably like RFK Jr., that'll take their case to the Supreme Court. Because I think that might have been the higher courts in New York. So I think it then has to go to a circuit court and then the Supreme Court. So there's still a battle. So it's going to hold up for a while. I don't think
In the
they're
long term.
stop it. No.
Yeah. Wow. There was something else that I wanted to say about this, but I guess that'll be for the next video, because
There's a lot to do on these.
there's a lot to do
Because
on
it's
these.
not even just the childhood ones. I mean, it's the continuation ones into our adulthood and everything else. And tetanus shots and what is it? As adults, you get the pneumonia shot, the shingles shot.
Flu.
And they push the flu shot on you every year, and good gracious, it's ridiculous. It's no wonder people get sick all the time. Their bodies aren't allowed to heal and build their own immune systems, because every time you take one of these, it ruins your immune system. It demolishes your immune system. So,
And there's so much coming out recently about if you're looking in the right places. If you're not, you're not going to see any of this. All right. About exactly what's in these things.
Yeah.
Different parts of different animals, different parts of,
Not only that, but there's mercury and there's other carriers. I think aluminum is in some of them, like a new aluminum in deodorant.
Lots of heavy metals. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of heavy metals.
That has been linked to a lot of, problems with kids, neurological problems with kids. Why would you put that in there?
Yeah. And like Dr. Arter says, a lot of venom is put in the venom in the shots. I'm gonna cut that out.
Or the immunizations.
Yeah, immunizations, as they put animal like snake in it.
And with that said, please make sure to join us on Rumble because we're going to put some of our shows across there only, especially when they get into these kinds of topics. So
Yeah. No.
you don't want to miss those.
And
Yeah.
we are not medical professionals. You have to do your own
Right.
research on this. We are giving you the opinions of things that we have researched, some of us over many years and whatnot too.
And this is based on our personal experience, personal opinions,
Yeah.
right? And our card pulls are for entertainment purposes as well. So please do your own research, as Lynn said.
Please. All right, thank you all for watching,
everybody.
and welcome again to our health series, and we have some more videos coming up. So thank you again from the Three of Pentacles.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.